Parashat Vayechi. We know that Parashat Vayechi, it's called Parashat Setuma. If you realize, whenever we took up the Sefer Torah yesterday, it was hard to find where does the parasha starts, because there is no space in this parasha. The reason is, there's a couple of reasons. One of the main reason is because that at that moment actually we started the exile. The exile of Mitzrayim started at the moment that Am Yisrael came down to Egypt with Yaakov Avinu. But we all know that Yaakov Avinu in this parasha, he gives blessing to each one of his sons. He is gathering them first. And he says, Agid alachem, I will tell you what's going to happen at the end of the days. And then what happened? From Shamayim, they didn't let him say the moment of the Mashiach. Right? And Chazal, they learn from here that a person gotta be careful not to make any type of calculations when Mashiach should come. Right? Like the Gemara says, Tipach atzmoteim, of the people that are calculating the kids, calculating when the Mashiach is going to come. But one thing we know that there are certain signs before Mashiach will arrive. The Gemara brings down those signs and more. We live, Baruch Hashem, in this area. We understand that we are actually in those days. Yeah, the Gemara speaks about a whole list of things. For example, there will not be any more barley. There will be coins in the pocket of the people, cash in the pocket of the people. All right, that we're gonna have the chutzpah. The chutzpah is gonna be pnei ador ke pnei kelev. The face of the generation is gonna be like the face of the dog. So I heard something very interesting. It says, what's the meaning of pnei ador ke pnei kelev? No busha. But why do we compare it to a dog? I don't know, compare it to a cat, compare it to any animal. I was sure that dog was the best friend of the human. Nachon? So we'll see something very interesting. You know, there was a rabbi by name Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld. He used to be Rabbah Shel Yerushalayim. Back in the days, was before, I believe it was Mamash, maybe at the very beginning, he was already Rabbah Shel Yerushalayim before the state of Israel became state of Israel, and it was also at the beginning of the state of Israel. So listen to this story, unbelievable. There used to be two hospitals back in the days in Yerushalayim. One of them was Sha'arei Tzedek. That until today there is Sha'arei Tzedek. It was not like where today Sha'arei Tzedek. It was nearby Shuk Machane Yehuda, that area. That was one hospital. The second hospital was a British hospital. The in charge of the Sha'arei Tzedek hospital was Dr. Valich. That was his name. And it happened to be that there was a Jew that unfortunately, it was in the Histadrut. He was not a religious Jew, but not stam not a religious Jew. He was against Torah, against all what has to do with Judaism. Every time there was something connected to Avodat Hashem, he was the first one to stand up and to scream and to yell and to do balagan. Obviously, because Rabbi Sonnenfeld was the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim, so this fellow decided to do, hard time to the rabbi. Now, Rabbi Sonnenfeld was not a kiddo, and he was a very tough rabbi. One day, this Yehudi from the Histadrut got sick. And he got sick, and he was rushed to the hospital, and he was taken to the hospital, the British hospital. He's there, and his situation doesn't stop going worse and worse. The family don't know what to do. one of the members of the family said, we have no option. We should pass him from this hospital to Shaarei Tzedek. The problem is, the Shaarei Tzedek probably will not accept him. Why? Number one, usually they don't accept if you were in a different hospital to come to this hospital. Number two, this type of fellow, such a chatzuf and such a against Torah and Avodat Hashem. But Rabotai, they said we have nothing what to lose anyways. If he's going to stay in this hospital, he's going to die. We have nothing what to lose. They grab a couple of guys. There was no ambulances back in those days. Okay, they grabbed the guy. They put him in a certain stretcher. It's called stretcher, and they carry him to Shaarei Tzedek. Once they get to Shaarei Tzedek, so Dr. Valach comes over and he checks about this guy, and he says absolutely not welcome. He's not welcome. They tried to beg, nothing what to do. One of the family members of this fellow said there is only the last solution. The last solution is, let's send somebody to the one and only, the Rabbi of Yerushalayim, Rabbi Azancot. They send him to the rabbi. Imagine what a chutzpah. This guy that didn't stop talking against the rabbi, now he's asking for favors. As soon as one of the friends of the family got to the rabbi, and he told him straight up what's the situation, the rabbi said, listen, when it comes to pikuach nefesh, it's not enough to write a letter. I'm coming with you right now. It was pouring rain. The rabbi takes his coat. They grab a carriage, and they travel to Shaarei Tzedek. Once they get to Shaarei Tzedek, the rabbi runs to the director of the hospital, and he tells him, since when you became posek in halachot of pikuach nefesh? Explain to me, since when you became a rabbi? Right now you open up the doors to this Jew. Dr. Valach didn't have too much of an option. Obviously he opened up the doors, and they treat him, and he gets safe. But guess what? The friend that was the one who connected everything didn't even told the guy who got saved right now that he got saved because of the rabbi. A couple of months pass, and there was a meeting in I don't know where in the northern area of Israel, and this fellow stands up to give a speech, and when he gives a speech he says, I want to say something. We came here to fight against these extremist Rabbi Chaim Sonnenfeld, that he tries to bring Judaism into the state of Israel. The state of Israel is an open state, and we're going to show him, and we're going to this and that. Without knowing, the Rabbi Sonnenfeld saved his life. My dear friend, at that event, there was a friend that knew the whole story. He couldn't handle that anymore. He stood up in front of everybody, and he yelled at the guy, and he said, stop it! You own your life to this rabbi. When you were sick, and he told him the whole story, and the guy couldn't believe that. He went down from the stage, embarrassed, and never again he opened up his mouth against the rabbi. Rabotai, when it comes to Avodat Hashem, there is no difference in between who are you, which type of Jew you are, which type of kippah you have in your head. When it comes to Avodat Hashem, when it comes to do chesed, when it comes to help another Jew, we have the obligation to help him even if he's from a different community. Even if he's a different type of minhagim. And unfortunately, in nowadays, it's something that is so hard. If he's a guy from our community, Of course, they're the first ones. If he's a guy from a different community, I already feel that he's not even in my. He's not my type. When it comes to Avodat Hashem, there is no such boundaries. You have to open up everything, and that's why Chazal is saying, when Mashiach will come before Mashiach's arrival, you will find the generation, the face of the generation, like the face of the dog. What's the face of the dog? The dog, my dear friends, does chesed, but for the ones that he knows. For his master, he's going to be the best friend. From the whatever environment that he has, is going to be the best. But when it comes to others, he's ready to bite, he's ready to bark, he's ready to do the worst. He's coming. We are in this type of generation. Don't let ourselves go with that flow. Don't let ourselves to be this type of guys that only we are ready to help and to be nice to people that are like us. He grew up with me in Brooklyn. He grew up with me in Miami. He grew up with me in this type of community. I'm Syrian. I'm Shami. I'm this. I'm Moroccan. I'm this. Rabotai, we have to stop it. Because those tiny differences are causing a huge impact to all of Am Yisrael. And I'm sure that once Borei Olam will see that the generation is like that, but we're fighting against that, so Borei Olam will actually see our effort and it will bring to us berachot. I just want to finish with this. And I told you this many, many times. What the Chafetz Chaim writes down. There is a concept called mitzvot met mitzvah. We spoke about it. Mitzvah that is a met mitzvah. Mitzvah that is a met mitzvah means you do a mitzvah that most of the people don't do. Most of the people, they're not careful on. If you do it, you get the payment and the sachar of all of the rest of the people that are not doing it. So we have that opportunity to break those barriers, to break those concepts that this guy is not in my group of people. When you're ready to break that, not only you get sachar for the actual mitzvah, you're getting sachar of all the generation. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen. Am Yachon Ne'emen HaGeshomer. נצא הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך לבין להם זרום שנאמר אדוני